She had two of them, two men, running parallel to me for the better part of 2 years. And the cruel joke, the part that still twists something in my chest when I think about it, is that I was the one who thought he understood how this worked. I was the one who'd been the other man, twice, in my younger years. I knew the game. I knew every move. I thought that meant I was safe. I was wrong. I was the most wrong I've ever been about anything in 61 years of living. My name is Graham Foster. I'm originally from Sheffield, which I don't think matters much to this story, but I'll mention it anyway because it feels dishonest not to. I spent 30 years in logistics management, worked my way up from a warehouse floor, and retired at 58, with enough in the bank to live modestly but well, and I chose to live in Phuket. Most people choose somewhere closer to home. I chose a different hemisphere. That probably tells you something about me already. I want to be honest about who I was before Preu. I wasn't some naive widower on his first trip to Thailand, stumbling off a plane and falling for the first pretty face that smiled at him. I'd been coming to Thailand for 9 years before I met her. I'd had short-term arrangements that I won't dress up as something they weren't. I'd had 2 longer relationships that ended respectably, mutually, with no major drama. I knew the landscape. I understood the dynamics. I'd even been, in my early 40s back in England, the man sleeping with someone else's wife, twice. Not proud of it. But I knew what that looked like from the inside the second phone, the gaps in availability, the particular quality of attention you give someone when you're aware that time with them is borrowed. I told myself that background made me perceptive, streetwise, harder to fool than the average retired accountant showing up in Patong with his pension and his loneliness wearing him like a sign. I want you to sit with how thoroughly I was proven wrong about that. I met Preu at a business networking event in Phuket town, which is already a different story from most of the ones you hear. She wasn't working in a bar. She wasn't a masseuse. She ran a small import business, decorative items, handicrafts, some tourism-adjacent merchandise, and she'd been invited by a mutual acquaintance, a British man I knew vaguely from the expat circuit. She was 30 years old, sharp-eyed, spoke very good English, dressed well, not flashy, elegant in a restrained way. She had a quality I can only describe as composed, like someone who had decided years ago how she was going to present herself to the world and had practiced it until it was natural. We talked for about 40 minutes at that event. She asked intelligent questions about logistics. I was charmed. I'm not embarrassed to admit that. We went for dinner 3 days later. Within a month, we were seeing each other regularly.